This is the Wrestling Replay. I am Kato. Welcome to episode number 16, the Forbidden Door edition. We just seen a clash between two great wrestling promotions coming together to make one fantastic pay-per-view. If you are new to this channel, please go ahead, hit that like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so that anytime we drop a video, you'll be the first ones to be notified. Let's just jump into this pay-per-view, man. I came in, I gave my predictions. I will say I was wrong on 2 predictions. That's about it. Let's talk about the matches that actually took place. Now, for me, kicking off the pay-per-view, the match that starts the pay-per-view, I always feel like sets the tone for what exactly I'm about to see. So, to kick off this pay-per-view, we had the team of Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Suzuki go against Eddie Kingston, Willa Yuta, and Shada. Now, this match, it has a ton of history inside the matchup. It has a great storyline that they're already building for the Blood and Guts. It's kind of like a go-home match into that Blood and Guts match we're going to see on Dynamite this Wednesday. Chris Jericho team did manage to pick up the victory, but inside the match, awesome matchup between these three. Really good chemistry. I thought it really set the tone for the pay-per-view and what you was about to see. Chris Jericho now has the advantage for his team at the Blood and Guts match on Dynamite this Wednesday. I like that. I like everything about this. We got to see who was actually going to fill that last spot, or who I believe is going to fill the last spot in that matchup, that big 6-on-6 matchup. So this was a really great match to kick off the show. Now, following that matchup, we had the Rakami Vice versus United Empires versus FTR for the ROH Tag Team Championships and the IWGP Tag Team Championships. Now, I had the best tag team in the world, FTR, winning this, and they did. They did their thing. They came out draped in gold. I had these guys winning because I ultimately feel like it's going to come down to these guys and the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championships. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to see FTR let go, similar to what Matt and Jeff did when they was running through all the independent promotions, collecting all the tag team championships, but doing it on this level with the AEW championships, the ROH, and the IWGP. These are 3 of the probably biggest promotions that you got around outside of WWE. So having those titles, it really kind of cement themselves as one of the best, if not the best tag team that's happening right now today. FTR managed to pick up the win in that matchup, like I said before. Really great matchup. I felt like it kept the tone of the pay-per-view. It didn't drop it at all. And it actually maybe picked it up a little bit, because coming into the next match, we had that AEW All-In Championship. We had Pac, we had Malakai Black, we had Clark Connors, who was filling in for Ishii, and we had Miro. Another great matchup. I mean, it's hard to say that this pay-per-view wasn't an absolute success. Every match they had, to me, it was no dull moment. Even if they slowed down the action to prepare you to pick it up for another matchup, it was fun. Every matchup was good in this pay-per-view. And I said before that I think this Forbidden Door, if they continue to do this, could possibly be as big as a WrestleMania one day. I'm telling you, like, when you're able to pretty much bring together all this talent into one place, and you're bringing together fans of different wrestlers from all over the world together. I think that's an amazing feat to do. And let's jump into this matchup a little bit. Now, I thought Malakai Black would be the one that come out of this matchup with the championship. I like how during the matchup, everyone was able to get off their offensive move sets. And it was kind of a point where you thought at one point each guy was going to actually walk away with this championship. It was a lot of false endings. You didn't know who. At the end of the day, you wasn't sure exactly who was going to win the title. Now, I will say this is one of the matchups I was wrong about, but I'm not mad at it. Pac ended up walking away with the championship. I'm not mad at him, because when Pac first came into AEW, I mean, let's face it, he was one of the guys that was kind of in the forefront, was kind of in that main event booking, I should say, and possibly a chance to be an AEW World Champion. So I still see that for Pac. I think it'll be a while before he gets there, but the opportunities are definitely there for him to do it. And I think this also continues to build up the feud with Death Triangle and the House of Black, because there's no way that Malakai Black is going to take the pinfall to Pac and lose the championship. Well, be the reason that Pac has a championship, because it was no one's to lose at that moment, but be the reason that Pac is the one is the reason that Pac is walking around with that AEW championship right now. So I think we're going to see more advancement in House of Black and Death Triangle feud. I think it's going to go on a little bit longer. Now, the next match, I feel like this is where we kind of slow down in the action a little bit. That Fatal 4-Way matchup definitely picked up the energy. It definitely was ramping up the crowd. We got to see dudes with attitudes. That's the team of Sting, Darby Allin, Shingo, and they went against the Young Bucks and Phantasmo. This was a match I feel like it kind of slowed down the action a little bit. Not saying that it wasn't a great matchup. It was still a really good, entertaining matchup. I like the way they kicked it off with Sting first appearing in the Raptors. The light goes off, and then he's at the top of the ramp on top of, not the Titantron, but top of the entrance ramp, and he takes a dive onto the Young Bucks and El Phantasmo. Sting looked like he's having fun, man. Sting looked like he is, I'm not going to say reinvented himself or reincarnated or anything like that. He still moves a little slow, but at the same time, he looked like he's having a great time out there. And you get to see these young guys wrestle with and learn under the tutelage of Sting. I mean, what better veteran do you want back there behind you to help usher these young guys into years to come in this company? He's been all around WCW, Impact, WWE. He can tell you how things are run in the back, how things should go, ways they shouldn't go, the politics of the business. But at the same time, he's really putting on great matchup, and he continues to entertain the crowd. So I like what him and Darby Allin is doing, but at the end of the day, I do want to know, where is Darby Allin going? I don't see like a tag team title run with these two. So where is Darby Allin going in this whole situation? Now, next we got the match between Thunder Rosa. She's defending her AEW Women's Championship against Toni Storm. And this was a phenomenal matchup. I thought it was going to be that. It was everything I thought. So next we got to see AEW's Women's Champion, Thunder Rosa. She defended her title successfully against Toni Storm. This was a great matchup between the two women. It was everything I thought it would be. I like the addition of Toni Storm in AEW, man. She really helps build that women's division to where it should be. Thunder Rosa as champion, she's doing a great job right now outside of the one match that a lot of people was controversial about, but other than that, she's been doing a great job. And I also like the way that Thunder Rosa ended that matchup with that Dustin Rhodes spinning suplex, paying a little homage to him, one of her trainings and mentees. So these two end up shaking hands after the matchup. It don't seem to be any bad blood, but the real question will be what's next for Thunder Rosa. Serena Deeb has a great alliance right now with Nyla Rose. That could be an issue for Thunder Rosa. Britt Baker is always lurking around the corner. So I don't know what's next for Thunder Rosa or where they exactly want to go. Now let's move on to the IWGP United States Championship match between Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay, who successfully defended his championship. And I said it time and time again that Orange Cassidy, when it's time for him to go, he can go. This matchup proved that. They had great chemistry in that match on AEW Dynamite in that 3-3 tag team matchup. So coming into this pay-per-view, I thought we was going to have an extension of what they started there. And they went above and beyond what we thought they was going to do. Will Ospreay is a great talent in New Japan. He's one of those guys, when Kenny Omega left, him and Jay White kind of took over as the face of wrestling in New Japan. So it was no doubt in my mind that he was going to walk out with his championship. But I didn't expect this matchup to be as good as it was. Now let's move on to see who Zack Sabre Jr. was going to face, who was going to be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club. I had two guesses. That was Johnny Gargano and Claudio, a.k.a. Cesaro. Claudio ended up being the pick. I wouldn't be surprised if both guys had made an appearance on this pay-per-view. I wouldn't mind it at all. I wouldn't mind Johnny Gargano and AEW. But I did feel like that Claudio was a much better pick for the Blackpool Combat Club. Just his style. He's always had that gritty, old-school style. And I feel like him, under the tutelage of William Regal, with guys like Moxley and Yuta and Danielson, it's perfect. It fit like a glove in that match. Now, when this match first kicked off, I thought we was going to have one of those matches where you get a huge pop, you come out, you run through the guy, and then you leave. When he first come in, he hit the equalizer, and I'm like, no way, this can't be it. Not 10, 15 seconds into the matchup. This cannot be the end of the match already, right? especially not with Danielson promising us one of the best technical matchups we was going to possibly see. Thankfully, that matchup did not end this way, and it went on to compete with the matches by Orange Cassidy and Ospreay and Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa. This was a really great matchup, and you would think that Claudio coming off of that layoff, I really haven't seen him anywhere wrestling or any other promotions, that he would be a little rusty, but to me, he got right back into it. He was successful in his first matchup in AEW, and that's still a big win over Zack Sabre Jr., man. So, shout out to Claudio. I'm excited to see exactly what happens to him now that he's on AEW. He's always been one of those workhorse wrestlers where you would see him on Raw, you would see him on SmackDown week in and week out. So, with him being now in AEW, hopefully this is someone that we will see on Rampage and the Dynamites every week. I can see him holding that TNT championship just because he likes to go out there and wrestle every weekend. And with him being in the Blackpool Combat Club, I feel like he will not be out the mix. You know, you got guys like Moxley, who is your now interim AEW World Champion. I spoiled that before the match came. Sorry. You got Bryan Danielson, who's there, and he stays in the forefront. These are two guys that competed for the AEW World Championship. Moxley was a world champion, and if you're standing beside these guys, you're really standing beside good company. So you're going to definitely get the TV time. I think he's going to be the workhorse out of the crew. He's going to be the one that's going to be constantly there, constantly wrestling week in and week out. So I would not be surprised to see either that All-Atlantic championship on him, but more importantly, I think he should hold that TNT championship, because I feel like that championship should be defended week in and week out on TV. Now, next, the action picks right back up. This was a little weird finish to the match, and we got some clarification on things that kind of happened and went through. And that was the match between Jay White, Adam Cole, Adam Page, and Okada for the IWGP Championship. Another amazing matchup. This pay-per-view was, if not a 10 out of, if you said it was a 10 out of 10, I wouldn't even be mad at you. This was a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 at best. This was a great pay-per-view, bro. Now, to have this matchup with these guys, the caliber of these guys from New Japan, from the independent scene, and from their respective promotions, you know what you were going to get. This matchup was everything you wanted. It went above and beyond your expectations. The only issue in this match, of course, was the ending. I believe Adam Cole suffered an arm injury, and that's maybe why he wasn't able to fully kick out, but later on it was revealed that he actually had a concussion. So I'm assuming when Okada went to go hit his finisher, he was supposed to hit his finisher on Adam Cole, but when Adam Cole fell, I assume that was because of the concussion that he sustained. And then when Jay White went to go pin him, he didn't kick out because of the concussion. So it was a little weird finish there to that matchup, but still an amazing matchup nonetheless. We did see the Elite come out, kind of look at Jay White. You know, these guys are all members of the Bullet Club, so we don't know if they're trying to, build a story going forward, if something else is going to happen there or not, if Jay White is going to start appearing on more AEW shows. Now with him getting a pinfall victory over Adam Cole, which I don't think it was supposed to go, that should be interesting. I feel like that's something they could build on if they decided to or wanted to build on it. So that was an amazing matchup. And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact of we was trying to get an AEW interim world champion or the AEW world champion on the line, I felt like that was your main event. It felt like a main event. They went out there and stole the show like it was going to be a main event. But nonetheless, we do have to get to our main event. And that's Jon Moxley and Tanahashi for the interim AEW World Championship. This was another match I got wrong, man. I kind of tried to go out on a limb. I overthunk it. I thought Tanahashi was going to be able to walk away with it, hold the title for maybe a month or two. I don't know how long CM Punk was going to be out. And we would get to CM Punk and Tanahashi bit. But in the mix of that, we could have got Tanahashi with Page, with Adam Cole. We could have got him with, hell, I wouldn't mind seeing him with Eddie Kingston. I loved Eddie Kingston's style. We could have got a match with Jericho. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. It was just so many matchups I feel like Tanahashi could have had while he was the AEW World Champion that, it could have made sense if you wanted it to make sense. Now, during the matchup, Jon Moxley did win this match. My only real issue with the matchup is that, one, I wish they would have slowed down just a bit. I understand these two styles, and I understand that they want to go 100 miles an hour, but I feel like the fans were so invested, and it was a point where, you was drawing them in, you would hit a big move, and they really wouldn't have time to enjoy it or really give the pop to the spots that they that should have been gotten, because the matchup was just going so fast and at an insane pace. Outside of the pace, it was very competitive. I don't think anyone really had control over the matchup for too long before the other one would regain control of the match. So I did like that. It did keep you on the edge of your seat as far as the entertainment factor, as far as no one really dominating. It felt like these two guys was really equals inside the main event. It was really good storytelling inside the match. I just wish it was a little slower so that we could kind of enjoy the stories that was being told. Now, my second issue was Moxley, bleeding. It was no need for you to bleed in the main event, especially not after the move that you took. I mean, you pretty much took a clothesline, rolled outside the ring, and then popped up bleeding. It was like, come on, man. Like, I feel like that match was so good, and I feel like this is the issue with AEW a lot of times, that they feel like blood puts everything over the top. Sometimes you don't need the blood. Sometimes the matchup is so great in itself that let it be the match. Now, if this was a match where it was no DQ, no count out, no holds barred or something like that, then yeah, go ahead and give me a little blood, maybe at the end of a headshot or something like that. But we're ready to get AEW Dynamite. We're ready to get blood and guts on Wednesday. There's no way it's going to be a matchup between these these 12 men, and no one's going to bleed. I feel like you could have saved that little bit of blood or melee for that Dynamite. I feel like that's where the pop is needed, unless you're not going to bleed on Dynamite, which I find it a huge surprise if you don't. Now, that was my really only two issues with the match. Everything else was great. This matchup was awesome. I like the fact that Jon Moxley did win. He should be an AEW champion. I feel like he represents them well. The two guys showed each other great respect after the matchup. I thought that was great. And then we got the JAS coming down to the ring, trying to get an edge on Jon Moxley. Then you have the Blackpool Combat Club now with Claudio on their side. Come down, we got a big melee at the end of the matchup. Me personally, I feel like you didn't need to do that because you just had a great matchup. I feel like you took away from it. You just kind of did this same exact thing at the end of Dynamite last week. So what's the point of doing it again? You're running it right back just to show us that Claudio will be the guy that's coming in as the next member of the team on Blood and Guts. What I did like from the whole brawl and the whole melee is the fact that Eddie Kingston and Claudio got into it. I don't know if these guys have the issue prior to this. Maybe some promotions they worked for before. But Jon Moxley, once again, found himself in the middle of trying to divide Eddie Kingston from someone else who's in the Blackpool Combat Club. I feel like this is what we were supposed to get from Danielson between Eddie Kingston and him. They had a little heat right before Brian got hurt and he went out. So I feel like Claudio's kind of picking up right where Brian left off. But I do like that. I like that little tidbit right there because I feel like after this whole JAS situation is done and handled, which it should be this week, I think now we have a story between Eddie Kingston and Claudio already thrown into a great storyline. When that's done, we still have another story with Eddie Kingston and Danielson that has not been resolved yet. So I like where everything is going. I like how things are setting up for AEW. And right now, wrestling has always been good. Now you're tying up storylines with it. That's my thing. So I'm invested in that. So all in all, man, this Forbidden Door pay-per-view was an amazing pay-per-view. If you didn't see it, it's well worth catching the replay. I actually already watched a few matches in that pay-per-view already. So if you did not catch it, please do yourself a service and go ahead and catch that pay-per-view, man. But that was everything that took place at the Forbidden Door. I love the way the Blood and Guts is setting up for Dynamite. I like the new addition to the AEW roster. I like the new championship. Everything for me is looking up and up for AEW right now. They're doing great. So we'll see how things will play out after Blood and Guts, because I'm still looking to see what MJF do. I still want to see Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. I think that's a good storyline I'm invested in. I'm invested in Eddie Kingston in every storyline that he does. And I want to know who's going to be the next challenger for Jon Moxley, because he's going to have to defend the AEW Interim Championship at some point until CM Punk make his way back to television. So that's a lot of things that we got to expect for AEW to come through. So I hope they take their time and we get a new challenger, someone we never seen before, challenge for the AEW Championship. I think that would be pretty exciting. And also, I want to know who's going to be Pat's first challenger for his championship. I would not go to the Malakai Black situation so quickly. I wouldn't mind seeing Miro step up and challenge, seeing as though he didn't get pinned in the matchup. And technically, it looked like he kind of had Pac beat when he had him locked into that submission. So I want to know what's going to happen. I feel like it's a lot of stories that need to be told, and that's right up my alley, guys. So that's it for me. That was the AEW Forbidden Door New Japan cross promotion pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to next year. I think this is going to be a very exciting pay-per-view for years to come. But I'm Kato. I'm signing out. I'll see you guys next week for the WWE and AEW weekly replay. All right? Peace.